Hey everybody, Yankee here. Just in case you're walking around today in a good mood, you're all happy or something, I'd like to take this opportunity to piss in your Cheerios. I'd like to talk about something that if you're anything like me, it's going to make you mad. I know it sure got my panties in a bunch when I read about it. It appears there is a bill in the U.S. Congress right now that's just been introduced to outlaw militias. Now you might be saying to yourself, well, that can't be true. Militias are one of the most important part of our society. They're a constitutional right. There's no way you could ban them. Well, they're trying. Believe it or not, a couple of Democrats from Maryland and Massachusetts are doing just that. They wrote a bill that would effectively ban militias. Now they're saying it won't, but you can read the bill and see it clearly will. Now, before we look at what the bill actually says, let's look at the two people sponsoring it. You have Jamie Raskin, who I'm sure y'all know on the left here, and I'm sure you hate him just like I do. Heck, that hairdo alone is enough to hate him. And the other one is Ed Markley, who, if you're like me, you don't even know him. But this guy should know how heinous this bill is, because looking at him, he was here when the Constitution was written. But he's forgotten what's in it. And in fact, from looking at him, like I said, I don't even know if he knows he's co-sponsoring this bill, but he is one of the co-sponsors. Now, what they're saying is that this bill just prevents militias from engaging in dangerous activity or violating people's constitutional rights. It prevents them from doing things that would harm other citizens. And a lot of people are like, well, that makes sense. They shouldn't be doing that anyway. Unless, of course, we ever have to fight the government. Like if the government becomes a rogue government, we have to fight them. Well, then that'd be a different story. But then the laws they passed wouldn't matter anyway. So why are we worried about it? Because, as soon as they rose up against the government would declare them illegal and fight them. So this law doesn't really do anything. Well, yes, it does. It completely decapitates militias. Because not only does it say that they can't engage in things like interfering in government activities, trying to enforce their will basically on any government proceedings, acting as a military unit or a paramilitary unit, or acting as any type of enforcement of law, which is everything a militia is supposed to do. Not only are they saying they can't do that, which like I said would be something they wouldn't want them doing even if they were doing it, so they declare them illegal anyway, but here's the kicker. They made it illegal to be training to do such things. If you are training in a way that would seem like you're going to try to interfere in government activities or overthrow the government or act as a paramilitary group, that's crime. You can be arrested just for training with a militia. Because all they got to do is look at out in the field and go, oh, those guys running around doing target practice, that looks like what you'd do if you were training to overthrow the government. That looks like what you'd do if you were training to storm the Capitol. Oh, look at those people over there crawling through a trench. That looks like what you would do if you were going to act like a military. That's what you would do if you were training to, act as some sort of enforcement of law. And that's illegal. That's what they're doing. They're clearly trying to ban militias. How can you be a militia if you can't practice to do the things militias are supposed to do? If that would get you thrown in jail. That's what they're trying to do with this bill. And how hard is it for them to say that about anything a militia would train to do? And how hard would it be for them to eventually say, look at all them guns. You look like you're getting ready to overthrow the government. You're a felon now. We're taking your guns. Wouldn't be hard. So that's what I wanted to point out to people today. These two Democrats from these two anti-gun states are trying to take away the Second Amendment. One piece at a time. If they can get the militia aspect of the Second Amendment deleted, well, then how hard will it be for them to go after the Second Amendment itself? That's what they're trying to do. This is a multi-step process on their part. This is so heinous that it is almost surprising. Although, looking at who's doing it, it's not really that surprising. But I can't believe anybody would stand for this. This is something you should be barred from government service for writing something this blatantly unconstitutional and anti-American. I've always said if you vote for a bill that is later declared to be unconstitutional, you should get 1 strike. If you co-sponsor and vote for a bill that is later declared to be unconstitutional, you get 2 strikes. If you sponsor and vote for a bill that is later declared to be unconstitutional, you write it, you introduce it, and you vote for it, you get 3 strikes. And if you get 3 strikes, you are out of government service forever. You lose pensions, etc. And not only that, but while it's being fought in court, if it loses, you got to pay the legal fees out of your election campaigns if you voted for it. That would stop them more than barring them from service, because as long as they got their wick wet, they don't care if they can't serve anymore. But if you took that money away from them, making them defend the lawsuits, then they would care, and they'd be more careful about what they vote for. But like I said, this is one of the most anti-American, heinous bills I've ever seen. It is subversively and quietly trying to remove militias. And they're trying to use the fear of the Proud Boys to do it. I don't know about anybody else out there. I ain't afraid of the Proud Boys. I'm an old man. I ain't afraid of them. I've gone downtown, talked to them. I've gone up to Seattle, talked to them. Ain't one of them that scared me. In fact, I found most of them I met, I was more sad for than I was angry at. Let's just say that. Same thing with most of these groups, like Antifa, etc. When I meet the people, I'm like, it's hard to be mad at you. I just feel sad for you. So, like I said, pay attention to this bill. Let your congressmen know, let your senators know, this kind of bill is the very thing militias exist for. This is the type of bill where you're trying to stop people from being able to fight back, which is probably going to spur them to fight back. And that's, I kind of think, what they want. They want us to fight back on this because they want people to get violent. So don't get violent right away. Violence is our last resort. There's a silent revolution already going on, and we'll talk more about that in another video. But there's already a silent revolution happening, so be part of that. Fight back in the right ways. Contact your senators, contact your congressman right now. I'm like, that doesn't really work. But let them know how heinous this bill is. And let them know how upset you are about it. But let them know we're going to fight it the right way in court and everything else. And then we'll see what happens. But this is something that cannot be allowed to go into effect. This has to be stopped either in the stage it's at now, or it's got to be defeated in court. Or, like I said, this is the type of thing that militias are needed for. Hey everybody, Yankee here. Before you go, I want to remind everyone out there that this channel is 100% viewer funded. We take no advertising. We do not accept sponsorship. We do not get kickbacks from gun companies. We don't do paid reviews. We don't hand out discount codes for kickbacks. And we definitely don't take money from organizations like the NRA or the GOA to try and convince you that they're good organizations. Like I said, we are completely viewer funded. And if you want to be one of those viewers that helps fund us, go on over and sign up either on Patreon or Subscribestar. It doesn't really take any money for me to make videos, but it does take money to run the programs that we sponsor, such as TYMP, Pets and Vets, the Friend Program, and so on. And if you sign up on Subscribestar, you are supporting TYMP. If you sign up on Patreon, you're supporting Pets and Vets. And if you're one of my viewers that is not comfortable signing up on one of those platforms, just go over and buy some merchandise. We sell merchandise to help fund the programs that we run. That's why we do the merch. I don't enjoy doing it. Well, actually, I do enjoy drawing them. All the designs are hand-drawn by me. But I don't enjoy having to make them to fund the programs. But, it's necessary if we want to do the good that this channel does. And I think you all do a lot of good. You come together, and as a group, you do far more than any of us could do separately. And that's why the Yankee Marshall Posse gets stuff done. And if you want to be one of those people that get stuff done and help us out, like I said, go over to Subscribestar or Patreon and sign up. There's links in the upper corner of this video, or just buy some merch. And remember, if you sign up on Patreon or Subscribestar, that gets you entry into our members-only chats that we have every Monday and Wednesday night. With that being said, I want to thank everyone in advance for your participation. Like I said, together we do far more than we could ever do as individuals.